thought of those guys straight after quali. It must be so nice to go back to your pimping truck and just whip off your kit, cruise inside, nice warm shower, kit back on, up. I was like huddling around my fan, getting my kit off.
Did the Monster Girls not help you
They
with your
did not.
kit? Were they not doing your washing
They
this
were,
week?
no, they were having lunch, having a fab time. I've got to make sure they have fun, these races.
Right, Teo. We were in Leger. We probably should have been recording the previous 10 minutes while we set up. Sven Martin's not going to join, but he probably is the most passionate journalist, photographer.
He'll probably have something to say about what we say. So
There's a lot of pressure sitting on our shoulders today doing this review. I was like, no, Teo's doing it. It'll be more fun, relax. I'm like, Sven's definitely going to critique every second thing. He's like, who's doing the pod? I was like, Teo's like, did you see the winning margins and time gaps for the women were closer than the men's for a change? I was like, I did. I just lied. I hadn't looked at the stuff yet. It was pretty funny.
Well, yeah, I think you can. When you're on site, it's really hard to actually keep track of like the commentary and all the splits and stuff like that, because you're kind of just looking through like a stage of thing, and it's actually, if you're a mega fan, it's actually better to watch at home where you can hear all the commentary and stuff, but it's definitely better to watch Leger live so you can see all of the chaos.
That's well said. When I'm at home, I can follow all the articles, maybe text you or whatever, full commentary. I'm a bit more of like a nerdy know-it-all.
Yes.
But today, it's more about the energy, the vibe when you're at a race. And Leger, every time I'm thinking, it can't get much better than the last one. It can't get much better when there were 3 Frenchmen on the podium at Worlds. It can't. Oh boy.
It can.
Did it.
It can. No, the Frenchies go hard at this race. I was saying to the guys in the beginning of the weekend, I was like doing some interviews with Monster, and I was saying, I think Leger is its own special world champs, because you can win in Poland or you can win in Leogang, and it's cool, and you do go down as a World Cup winner. But like, I'd say the atmosphere and the everything about Leger is like its own standalone world champs. It's like a once a year special occasion where it's like, if you max and you win yesterday, that's insane. Like, that's first win for him, and the vibe and the atmosphere and the emotion of all of that must be like next level, you know?
No, but he might as well retire. He's not topping that. How's it just mic drop that?
Yeah, he's first year elite though.
No, I know. It's. I mean, maybe he goes and follows the trend and wins next week at Worlds.
Yeah.
That'd be quite special. But
his bike looked like it was set up quite nicely. So
did he get his bike back from the fans?
I didn't even know.
Mate, our vantage point, could you see that he got stuck there for my clips a minute? He was stuck there for 40 seconds till he could get to celebrate properly. Like, he celebrated like on his GoPro run,
Yes.
like, wow, yes. Engulfed. Then I could see everyone shitting themselves to get him out there. I'm like, this guy's getting trapped. And the gravity of... So not everyone being malicious, the gravity of the hill.
Yes.
Everyone's like, okay, let's not trap Max.
Yes.
Gravity of the hill, like everyone's
in.
just like moving a millimeter. Anyway, and then he only got to actually like put the hands up and celebrate to the crowd that was crunching him like 40 seconds afterwards. It was the funniest shit. Dominant. I mean, he won time training. He won with a crash in Q1. And then he won. Last man down. Teo, Ace has done it last man down as well. Super special.
Yes.
Jordan, I wanted to look it up. Jordan qualified 6th, so a little bit less pressure when he did it back in Lenzerheide, this first race or whatever. Now, just as these youngsters, what are you talking about managing this pressure at the top? Do you think it's just ignorance is bliss for these guys?
No.
Because Amri, I was asking everyone who worked the least in the break. Amri said the Alrans. He said, no, they were out partying. I'm like, what? Were they just riding dirt jumps and partying? I mean, they were probably riding their bike as well. But they just having so much fun.
Max Alran came to Paul Kudurk's backyard battle and was genuinely the most impressive rider for me. I expect Lemoyne and Kudurk and all of those guys to be doing big tricks and stuff like that. But I haven't seen Max ride. I mean, it's not even a dirt jump set. It's basically a slope style course. Like, it's Paul Kudurk slope style course. Huge doubles, huge spines and stuff like that. He was ripping it apart and looking so comfortable. He was the most impressive person I saw at that backyard battle. And then to do that, and then 2 weeks later he kind of just went to Morzine and rode for a bit, and then comes to Leger and just absolutely just smokes everyone. And I don't think it's ignorance is bliss from the youngsters. I think because the new youngsters are doing 2 full years racing juniors at the top, like Asa and Max and Jordan and Jackson, all of those guys did like years being, and like, yes, it's junior racing, but like that butterfly at the start gate is still it's still the same beast to tame, you know what I mean? So like, I think they've just had 2 years of like being last man down in junior and trying to qualify in junior and stuff like that. So I think their headspace is just like developed from young, and they're like, cool, well, I'm on my bike, I'm nowhere to go, and I'm going to ride fast, you know?
I think that's well said. I forget if it was Tiger Woods or someone talked about, you know, if you have a lot of talent, you jump up categories, and some people say stay in the category and learn to win, learn to repeat the win, learn to win when it's expected, learn to win when you should be winning by 10 seconds in a down or whatever it may be. Because like you say, you're getting reps for the Budweiser. You're getting reps of like what your process is that works.
Yeah.
And yeah, those guys, like when they're expected to win worlds as a junior, or John D. Williams, like, okay, cool. How many races is he going to win in a row? Like that's a lot of weight that starts.
Yes.
So it's building on your shoulders. So, I mean, that is well said. I love the ignorance is bliss. Like that is how the attitude comes across. This new crop of juniors, I think even Bruni says it, like it's really fun to watch. They're fast, they're pushing him, but I think everyone is pretty jealous how fun they make it look, how relaxed they seem.
They are. Even so, I had a laugh with Amory in the one gondola because I was like, yeah, is it nice having the Alran boys to kind of like keep you boys in check? And he was like, it is actually nice because I think between like Amory and Loris and stuff, they get into such a stage where they're like, okay, I must, you know, have this breakfast, not go on my phone and be focused and look at my GoPro and this and that. And he said like, dude, you know, in the evenings, the Erlangsen boys, they're just sitting there scrolling Instagram, wake up, maybe not breakfast, maybe breakfast, go fastest Q1. He's like, it like for Amory, it quickly kind of became a reality check for him where he's like, not everything has to be according to the book and perfect. Like,
not everything
you can
has to
actually
be optimized.
Just wake up and miss breakfast and scroll on your phone and then go Q1 and P1. And he was like,
yeah, but I guess the older you get, you do have to look after your body a bit more. Like those guys could win on like a freaking Panay chocolate. Whereas maybe like Amro's like this older fine-tuned Ferrari. You got to put the race gas in that thing for it to fire up.
Got a couple of injuries. He's got to mobilize a bit, you know?
Yeah, no, it's you were rewatching the race. And you're like, geez, it's good. Like Max didn't slip a pedal or something going into the finish line. He would have been engulfed. Dude, the fans literally almost beat him. I was thinking one of those fans messed up the timing because they wanted to they would have stopped the clock incorrectly and would have had to go into manual timing.
Dude, they really were, because they were just behind in the finish line arch. They were like sneaking around the finish line arch as he's got a transponder, so it should be the transponder. But I know what you mean, like stopping the beam and stuff like that. Like it definitely would have maybe messed.
But
with
how
the
did
timing.
they get so close? Because we watched when we course walk, we were like, oh, these 3 banners, they're trying to keep them back. That's a good system. It's not going to work, but cool. The B zones,
they were far beyond the B zone.
Oh yeah, so
I think they had systematically hopped over until his run kind of thing, because they were past any, like, I think they were maybe just in front of the you know, like the course poles.
Yeah,
but like
they'd made their own B zone for sure then.
And it's also, I would get scared that somebody is just a total lunatic and like throws a bottle into the rider or something like that. But technically, in the Tour de France, they still have those lunatics going up the road and stuff like that. So like, I think there's just a general hope of like civil obedience that people can't just,
the gendarme definitely had a different attitude. They kind of accepted it.
Yeah. Here's some more interesting bands. You know, the fastest French guy? He actually said for the first year, the region of this region actually didn't say, yes, Leger is a good idea. Only like the city council of Leger said, no, it's a good idea. So like...
What, to have the race?
To have the race. Okay. For the first year, the actual French region said, dude, I don't think it's a good idea to have this race. It's actually just too much chaos. And then the city and the mayor over kind of ruled the region decision and said, no, it is like really iconic. We must do it. But I think they
Is that the most fans we've seen here? It just felt like it. I mean,
Felt
unless
like
they've-
it.
Yeah, it was.
I think
incredible.
Worlds was maybe a bit more just because it was Worlds.
Yeah,
But
maybe,
it's
yeah.
like it's hard to count between 20,000 and 25,000 and 30,000. I don't know what the total head count is, but it's a different beast, this race.
But like, Amri, you can see he's like going down to win the race, right? Yes, we
Yeah.
know he crashed, and that's like a whole nother topic. But Max doesn't seem like he's trying his riding style, but he has to be pushing.
He's-
Like, you know, like it seems like if he makes a mistake, because he just has to be so perfect. He didn't make a mistake. I rewatched the GoPro run. It just didn't look like he was out of shape.
Yeah.
Missed any of his ruts. Nothing.
The clips I saw of him on the first day of practice, granted it was dry, but everyone was like ripping the track. Everyone was feeling quite good. And I saw a few videos of him and his practice on Thursday is our practice. And I was like, what the hell? It looked like his tires were just like glued to the ground and he was just ripping corners. And you know, you say he doesn't look like he's pushing. Sven told me yesterday that they did French champs 2 weeks ago. And I think it's at Les Ors, like a French national track. And I think the track is quite rocky and quite sketchy. And Max rode like quite chilled. And he was like just cruised down. And assuming he was like, I don't want to get injured on this like pretty dangerous rocky track. Like, let me just do a nice run down kind of thing. And apparently his father fucking bent him over backwards and, well, didn't. But like his father gave him a talking to and was like, what the hell do you think you're doing riding so chilled? This is French champs. This is your job. You don't get to decide when you chill or not like that. So Sven told me his dad bloody like gave him a walloping after French champs. So he probably came to this race thinking, okay, Papa's going to smack me. So he probably pulled the carrot out of his ass for this one and really went for it.
I was thinking, like, if we ask him, is he going to be honest? Like, what percentage is he pushing? Like, there's no ways he's riding 95%. Like, Sam Hill is watching these races, and he's like, mate, you have to lay everything on the line. Like, he watched Troy's run, he's like, yeah, it's not going to be fast enough. He just didn't think there was that extra intensity. So even Sam Hill's seeing... He used to ride at that intensity,
Yeah.
and that's why he had a bit of crash and burn mentality here and there because he wanted to win races, kind of like Ummery.
I
But
think
it's not a chance he's riding at 95%.
yeah.
Like, I would goddamn hope that's 101, 100%.
I think
I mean,
in
nice,
those
like,
conditions,
perfection, 100%.
it's probably really hard because look, yesterday you do qualifying in like treacherous mud, like next level treacherous mud, and then the sun bangs out on Saturday, and then your morning practice is still, I think it's from like 9:45 to 10:45 or something like that. You get an hour at about
10
9,
to 11.
but then you're doing your race run, especially Max, at about 3. So technically, like everything in the open, I would say you can more than predict and say that's going to be dry. I can push there. It's going to be nice hero dirt. But anything in the forest, you can't like predict how grippy it is, because in the morning practice, I'm sure it would have been still very slick and stuff. You know what I mean? And then even I don't know, brief conversations with Jackson and those guys, it's hard to go into that forest section in your race run and be like, I'm going to be 110%. You kind of, let's say Troy probably went in and you're like trying to feel how much grip you have, and you probably do that first woods. Jackson even said he crossed the lake and he was like, okay, like, come on, like the track's actually all right now, like go for it. And he said like as he crossed the lake, he was like, go, go, go kind of thing. And then even further down, he stepped it up a bit. So I'm sure as the riders are going down, they're kind of like, I don't know, dissecting the conditions as they go and figuring out how to push. I think that's why some of the enduro boys did quite well, because like it is effectively an enduro lap because you have such little practice. And you going into like a blind condition, you know what I mean? It's not as though you do a lap and then you go up and you're like, okay, now I know I'm gonna push. And that also kind of brings into light how important all of the line spotters and stuff are for the big teams, because as the race is going, I'm sure all of like Muck-Off's line spotters are on track taking pictures of each section, and so that when the rider's at the top, you're scrolling through the pictures of each section. You can say, okay, that corner's mint, like that's the rut, that's where you're aiming. And that's like a huge advantage for those factory guys, because if you know the conditions and you've got like live pictures and stuff of it, it makes a hell of a difference to know how you can push and where the rut is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, I not having any line spotters, I just like come in over blind rise. And you're like, oh, the rut's changed inside. You know, like, so it's those top teams have to be really, really dialed to get those results because obviously it's such a small margin at the end of the day.
It's well said. I mean, I saw Porty on the side of the track. I said, he's like, I'm going to come back up before some of my riders' race runs. I'm like, they trust you that much, and they have to. You have to build that bond because he might tell them what tires to put on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if at other races, it didn't quite get there because of all the woods.
Yes.
It wasn't that warm, you know. Normally it might get to 25 degrees, but it was in the shade. It was under 20, so it wasn't drying out as much. But yeah, well said. And excuse me, and I think that's where Asa, you know, he starts a little slow. He likes to feel the track, and probably especially a track like this.
Yes.
He's not an experienced mud technician. Nico will say that. So I think he feels out the track more, like you say, okay. And the first bit was the slipperiest. So if you got spooked in the first bit, it was tough to build pace. But yeah, you're right. Jackson definitely turned one up down the bottom. He pulled back a lot of time, a real lot of time. Like
he was on dry tires actually.
Did he go with dries?
Assegai front, DHR2 rear, and he's also.
And maybe that's where you couldn't push as well in the
exactly.
woods.
And he's also getting updates from as Felix does his run in juniors, he'll give him like a brief, like a rundown of it. Then Nina will give him a rundown. Then they'll go for like tire choice and how hard to push and all of that stuff. So it's like
it's tough though to take info from people that ride a different style and speed to you. It's really tough, you know. And that's
I think you just got to kind of get all the information and then be like, okay, I'm Jackson. I just need to get on my bike and ride. You know,
it was great to see him back for sure. And another guy that's back, and we'll jump around the ladies as well. Andy Kolb.
Yeah.
Not the season he would have hoped for, coming on the team. You know, it's tough. You know, it's like I've got all the resources. I've got the fun team I wanted to be on. It's like a dream team, but I think subconsciously that's like a really tough place to be.
It's insane that the sport is now at a stage where I think he didn't qualify for the last two, no?
Definitely
the last one.
No, definitely the last one.
And possibly the last two, I think he didn't qualify for. And then to go to a quick summer break, I think he still did European or national champs and things like that. And quickly slips back into a podium. It just shows how wild the sport is in terms of like how does... Yeah, I mean, Luca Shaw goes win and then no quali. Andy goes no quali and then win. No, podium.
It's worse. He hasn't been in the final of the last three.
Yeah.
Andy Kolb. Dude, that's mental.
Straight to podium.
But it just shows the nuance of the sport, the depth. We talk about it every time. Like, I'm not going to beat that dead horse.
It's insane. I was riding with him on Monday, I think. It rained a bunch in Morzine, and everyone knew that Leger was going to be battling the weather. So everyone was on Plenty, just in a huge train with Jackson, Ronan, Andy, Rory, me, everyone just trying to bash wet laps and figure it out.
And Andy was definitely at the front of that train most of the time. So I think,
you were with us too, bro.
Yeah, I was at the back. you forget because I was never near the front. It was cool to see, you know, and I think someone like Ronan, you've been hanging out, riding with him. I went up the lift and like it was cool to see him in the final, but he probably even was okay not going to the final because he knows he's not. He almost said like, I don't want to go through because then the bumps are going to be worse. My foot's going to just not be great. So
he wanted to kind of actually. He only started riding like 3 weeks ago. Like his foot is in dire pain. He repositioned his cleat. He drilled new holes in his shoes because he actually couldn't deal with like the leverage of that on his ankles. He like drilled his cleats further forward, and he's struggling to walk, but he's so passionate about biking. He's like, get me on my bike. So he rode for 3 weeks, and he actually just wanted to slip back into Leger and just kind of do practice and feel it out with the boys. But obviously, as soon as he did track walk, everyone was like, Ronan's back. And like, he was even raging. He was like, Mondraker posted something, just said, it's 2 words, he's back. And Ronan was like, no, please, no. Then he actually slips in qualifying in Q2. He said he woke up on Saturday and his leg was like in another dimension of pain. And he was like, I don't even want to do the race.
I love that. I think it's quite relatable for me right now. And he's like, yeah, and I can't believe how gassed I am. I've done like 4.5 practice runs. And I'm just like, I did 12 at Plenty. I was fine. But now I'm like at a World Cup. There's all this intensity in practice. And I'm like, totally gassed because he's not race fit,
It's hectic. Even we were laughing because on Thursday, it's a really long wait in the line and then a very intense lap. And we also, I've spent now weeks just bashing laps of, the whole Port du Soleil. And after qualifying day, it was after practice day, me and Rory were poked. And I was like, how have I done 4.5 laps? And I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm getting mentally ready to go tomorrow for 2.5 or 4.5 laps tomorrow. Q1 or Q2 and a lap and a half of practice. And I was like gearing up mentally for a huge day,
Yeah, I'm so impressed how... me from the outside, I wish there was more practice, and hopefully next year if they come back they'll figure out getting more practice. But yeah, everyone's really good at just not letting it affect them. Yes, it's the same for everyone. They're getting less practice at this race. It's just on fact.
Yeah,
should be more blah 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 whatever. But it's pretty impressive that everyone just gets on with it, and they've got to get up to speed, because by the time race run comes, someone's had enough runs to be going 110%. So you just got to get on with it. I was impressed with that, but it's not a level playing field, because if you're waiting in line for an hour and a half and the factory teams have mechanics and more umbrellas than you and you're drier and warmer, you got a little advantage. But if you flat, which is out of your control potentially, you might get one run in that and someone else did 2.5.
Yeah.
Then that's not a level playing field,
It's hectic. You in those World Cup practices now, you have to be so prepared and ready, because even if you flat, you're going to waste 10 minutes rolling down to the track, and they will immediately notify their track guy on track and say, Alran puncture, be at the bottom, this is the tire you want. So as he rolls down, it's like Max Verstappen in straight up the lift. So everyone's dialed in. The people spotting on the side of the track play way more of an important role these days than they used to. Back in the day, we'd look for a sneaky line here and there. Now it's every team's got 3 or 4 people up the hill spotting and helping organize everything,
Yeah, we had Sam and I were talking about you get enough time that you could potentially do too many runs and ruin your energy.
Yes.
Enough time on first day or whatever it is to get to know the course, set up your bike, and the next day get up to speed and off you go. And even Sam said when it went to quali the day before, he didn't just change it for him. It just changed the way of the sport, and you have to be able to adapt. And it's so ironic. It's just millions of euros of trucks sitting 100 meters down the road, and then you've got mechanics, wheel bags, shitty tool bags compared to all these pimp OCD looking toolboxes. And they're just sitting there. A lot of them are stoked because they're not stuck in the pits all day, which is also pretty grim.
Yes.
So they're at the finish, they're actually loving it, but I think it's ironic. This is insane. They've all invested millions of euros. What for? They're sitting in a bloody wet finish area of the J, swapping
just
tires.
Everyone crowded around.
They're privateering it.
Yeah,
pretty
literally.
much.
Yeah.
You're hey, this is how I feel.
But then but the nice part about, I was thought of those guys straight after quali. It must be so nice to go back to your pimping truck and just whip off your kit, cruise inside, nice warm shower, kit back on, up. I was huddling around my van, getting my kit off.
Did the Monster Girls not help you with
They
your
did
kit?
not.
Were they not doing your washing this week?
No, they were having lunch, having a fab time. I've got to make sure they have fun these races.
That'll be a good video. Them hand washing your kit.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. They're strictly on Aperol due. Well, actually, I don't think they're allowed to drink on the job, but they're strictly on looking cute duty. And
they are not touching no muddy helmet.
No muddy helmets. But they had a fab weekend. The Monster Girls actually say this is their favorite weekend. When I saw them at the beginning of this, the beginning of this week, they said the entirety of last year, this was their favorite event to come and spectate. Out of MXGP, MotoGP, this, that, they were we loved Leger Week.
I did a little bit of research, but I feel like these clips go the hardest on Monster's channel as well. On anyone's channel. Yeah. Pink Bike, you name it. The engagement is absurd.
Yes.
And this race is kind of why Monster signed the deal.
Exactly.
And then you come back and they're yeah, that was a good decision.
They literally, I think Brendan told you guys, but the American boss just watched last year and he was this is cool. We need to be involved in this. So
Yeah.
like Leger is they went big here, lots of stuff going on, and they love
And the
it.
Legends POV, like it made sense to do it here. PD's got the history with Leger. Sam Hill's he's actually got some unfinished business on this mountain as well. I'll have to
Yeah.
get him an entry for next year, I reckon.
I think everyone loved seeing Sam Hill back at the races. Even if he just came and walked around the pits and drank beers, I think everyone was just ecstatic to see him.
Dude, he's like a Sasquatch. You just haven't seen him for a while, and then comes back. Oh, it's meant. It's really cool. No, he's good for the sport, and yeah, I mean, he's a man of few words, that's for sure, right? But I was hanging around with him with Q1, Q2, and then the finals, and the insight he has, and all sorts of things. Like you think he used to say, "Oh, it's just another race run, mate," but he's talking about. He's like, "Oh, if Anna's elbows were up, maybe she wouldn't have almost gone over the bars." He's like watching the finest details of riding position, technique, bike setup. He's like, "Yeah, Troy's not on it today." I'm like, "Oh, what? It looks like he's attacking. Didn't you see that hop?" He's like, "That's not enough intensity." I hope I'm doing his accent a little bit justice. I've definitely butchered it, but it's fun.
After the podcast with him now, you'll have a real good clue of the accent.
yeah. I'll see if he signs off on it. So that was really cool to see, and he's blown away at where the sport is, and how ruthless it is,
No, I can firsthand tell you it's pretty ruthless these days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
What else should we get into? Some of the riders, and I'm trying to think.
No, we got lots to still get into. We're going to definitely go over our allocated time to get back to your event. I mean, we'll jump back and forth, but Hattie Harden.
Oh,
Like you spoke enduro, you spoke about those. Like we knew she'd be strong at the bottom, but as you say, like you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think is an enduro race.
Yeah.
I've done one or two, not a lot,
Yeah.
but you don't always have enough practice. You can't set your bike up for each style of track they might throw at you. So I think you get a little bit good at riding really well when you're less prepared, shall we say. You mentally, it's like it doesn't phase you. I think physically as well, and technically those few riders, Martin Mays the day before, he's always done well. Yeah, Richie Rude. And then Hattie with her bike setup, which, surprised a lot of us. Like we don't know if we could ride it, but she pulled back a mountain of time in the steeps.
incredible.
So, bike setup, bike rider talent. It was
So in those conditions, it's actually way more physical than you think, because the ruts are so deep, the track is so like blown out and muddy that like it's not just like Leger in the dry. You can kind of just like keep momentum, keep your speed up, and like rip through the main rut kind of thing. Whereas if you like in those muddy conditions, it's so physical, especially in qualifying yesterday, so physical. And I almost laughed at Hattie because I think Wolf did an interview with her at the end, and he was like, she was just talking about how stoked she was that like her friends and family are here and that she got her win. And he was like, what about the huge 100K prize that's been on offer for like 2 years now? Like, talk about that kind of thing. And she didn't even seem to like, I don't know, I would be pretty ecstatic about the 100K purse. I don't know maybe Reese has got a real clasp on how they split it. That's why she's not so stoked.
No, I think it just shows you like people don't race for the money. The money's the byproduct, right? You race to push yourself. You race because, I don't know, the bug bit you as a kid, you want to be competitive.
It is literally that though. At the end of the day, like half of the people, like in the start gate, you're not like thinking, oh, I could get a bonus if I do. Like, it's like, okay, this is the task at hand. This is the challenge. This is where I need to carry speed. So like, you're not actually thinking about any of that. But I'm sure this morning
you probably would have been in the gate. That's the problem, Teo.
I'm too far away from those bonuses, bro.
Dude, it's been a big talking point since we had the gearbox bikes on the circuit, and then they put up the prize purse. MS Toyota was saying like the rider gets it.
Oh, really?
100% of it, rider gets it.
Wow.
Marco said, you guys get it. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's just their system. And I've been trying to get answers for like 3 years on this, but I don't want to go straight there and be like, right, tell me exactly how.
I think that's exactly what you should do.
Well, I did with him because it's off the record.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's a positive thing to think. But with any contract, you normally, these teams sign with a Fox, a Shimano, whatever, and the team has bonuses.
Yeah.
From there, you got to distribute for expenses and riders' bonuses. So it's probably pretty normal, I would guess, that a team gets the money and then they decide how to split it.
I think
Hattie not mention.
Hattie didn't mention anything.
Well, what's he doing as a journalist without asking
yeah,
that?
exactly. I think, and I could stand corrected, but I think Atherton's one was like team gets 50, rider gets 50, which is like fair enough because obviously they also spend a hell of a lot developing a gearbox bike and all of this stuff.
Well, yeah.
So like that's, I would have assumed most teams were 50-50,
I've heard like 80-20, 70-30
really?
to the teams. But again, this is just clickbait. So we'll just clip this and you tell us what you think. But I think Gates should have itemized what it should have been.
Yeah, actually, it would have been good. No, yeah.
That would have been great.
All to the rider.
Or
To be
they
honest,
could have said, it's 100K. We're giving 50 to the team for all their hard work, sacrifices, and 50 to the rider. Whatever, like forced it that way. Well, it doesn't really matter because she's got it and they've got it and it's cool for their team. It's great for Reese, like all that hard work and everyone doubting, does this setup work? Will it work? It's like, well, he's been on the podium in Andorra. She's just won a race. Like it's kind of an underdog team at this stage.
No, it's crazy how the kind of teams like that ebb and flow. Like in the beginning of the season, maybe Ludenville or something like that, they were like kind of struggling to qualify and everyone's like, oh, look at you and your scaffolding on your bloody, bike, or what are you doing kind of thing. Then Andorra, and then everyone's like, okay, maybe we should try the stem. Maybe we should have a look, this and that. And then like now, so it's like, it's so hard to establish. Okay, obviously the top teams are the top teams, specialized this and that, but like these kind of like smaller teams just go like, patches of like, underperforming and then patches of brilliance. It's insane. But another interesting fact on that bloody bike that Reese has, it's actually not as high. His handlebars and stuff are not as high as it seems in... Like when you see him riding, it looks ridiculous. But because his upside down fork has like a big drop on it, it's
that's
actually,
what someone said.
Like if you put Jackson and him's bike, the bars are next to each other. Like
really, I think there was a video done on that.
It's really like it's because his crown on his Manitou fork or whatever drops down. Obviously, he's got it at a zero offset or whatever, which is a bit odd. But like his bar height is not actually that wildly high. It's just the offset and the way that bike looks that makes it look insane. Dude,
the riding position makes sense.
Yeah, he looks...
When I rode with you guys, and I've set my bike up in the parking lot of the hangar at home, and I'm like, John, I think I've got this head angle a little bit steep for where I'm going. And then I ride Morjon, perfect, fun, like jumps. But then when I start pushing and then when you took me down the steeps, I was like, this setup is so far from... You've got to get some weight off your hands. And it makes sense. Will it work on all sections of the track? Maybe not. Yeah. But every bike has a compromise.
Yeah. But also last year...
That's how setting up a bike works.
Everyone was jamming spaces under their fucking their stem because they were trying to look like Jackson because he was like 5 on the trot. And then this year opens and Finns wins 2 in a row. And everyone's like, maybe we need to go bars lower. lower. So it's like, it's just the trends and everyone's looking for... But even
he said that his bike setup is how he needs it and this is how he gets grip on the front tire. But it's not great at the wheel.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense to be good at Leogang and where that other win was. Yeah,
I think Val de Sol, everyone's going to be really puzzling with their setup and stuff like that because, well, to go into it now, Val de Sol has been open because it's technically a bike park. They only closed it this week of Leger to do track kind of repairs and get it ready for World Champs next week. But prior to that, every single World Cup team went there and did pre-training and nobody was posting about it.
Tani was there. It's the only one that had the courage to put it on social media.
Tani literally came back. She was like, everyone was there and no one's posting about it. Like, what is everyone doing trying to fake this? But I think because the track will now get so destroyed at Val de Sol, there's going to be some crazy setups for Val de Sol because that's so steep and you're just having so many impacts through the handlebars and fork and stuff like that like I think Geordie's going to be a busy man that week and trying to set up everything and spaces and big rotors and everything. It's going to be chaos, I reckon.
No, it's going to be such chaos. And it's fitting that Samuel's back just before that run, the iconic run that he did down there. And he said a lot of valuable things, like these people are chasing setups and all the data and all these things. He's like, but you have to, these days, just get a setup that you're comfortable with, and you need to know what your bike's going to do. And it feels like if you're changing it all the time, you can't predict. Even if it was like the setup was a little bit incorrect back in the day, he has a point. Like you could maybe bring some of that old school non-data driven mentality back at some point. I think some riders we've seen in the pits, they're for sure chasing their tails.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 30 runs on an inferior setup down plenty will give you more confidence than changing a few clickers here and there.
Well, I think it's gone
easier
past the
said
point
than
of,
done for me here on the couch.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's gone so past the point of like changing a few clickers. Like if I look at the Makov Commensol team, they have a different linkage and a different thing and a different shock and a different tune. And so they've probably got 3 or 4 shock tunes, and they've got coil and air options, and they've got different linkages like to the kinematics. So they are changing, like they've got like 9 layers to look through.
But is Max changing as much as Amri? We don't know.
So another like I don't even know if I should.
But I've seen Amri, like if you've got trust in your engineers and you've got trust in your team, it's unbelievable. Yes.
But like they laughed last year because basically end of last year in Lenzerheide, I saw that Commensol have now got a V5.2. It's like a rendition, like a newer version of their downhill bike. There's like a few subtle changes visually, but apparently like the way the jockey wheel mounts and the kinematics are like completely different. So I spot Loris on this bike last year in Lenzerheide. I'm like, oh my gosh, a new bike, dude, I can't believe it. I'm kind of checking it out, seeing what's different. And he was like, yeah, it's very cool. It's nice. We are developing the prototype, but the Alran brothers are on the old one, and they smoke us every weekend. So I don't know what to do.
And it was speaking of brilliant an accent,
and it was like he was like, yeah, dude, this new one we're developing is incredible. But they were still junior then, and they were still getting like fastest time of the day. And he was like, yeah, the Alrans are on the stock one and they smoke us every weekend. So I don't know what we're doing on this one. And it must be such a mind trip because obviously they're doing telemetry and data and it is improving and it is getting better and stuff. But at the end of the day, you just have that young man confidence and it'll go through anything. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a bike works well. Like any bike in these pits is going to be rather well set up. You know what I mean? So at a point, you're right. You just crack the throttle if you're young and
but
fast.
It's the easier way to do it. Like if you have those resources, like it's very tough to block all that out. So I say it tongue in cheek. Like, you just got to get on and ride fast. Cool. Well done, Andrew. No shit. I remember he's like, he's not going to listen to this, but if he did, like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's why he's fucking crashing. So that's something so absurd. Like he's the modern day Samuel.
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to win a race, then I think that strategy is epic.
Yeah.
Teams probably hate it now because they could have been higher up the overall.
Yeah.
To win the overall. But you got to respect the guy that's like, dude, we're getting this race win. And to go at that pace, to win these races, I'm going to then risk a crash. Sam did the same thing at certain races. He's like, if I want to win this race, I'm not as fast on this track as, say, a Greg. He knew it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, then I've got to ride 110% in certain sections. And then you bring in a crash. And he had some of the most iconic race runs. And we're talking about Amri getting on the podium after a crash.
Yeah.
Almost winning Leger last year on a crash. Some people say, yeah, but you're riding over your head. Like, that's the skill to stay on your bike. It is.
But it's also.
But if you're only able to get 7th and you keep crashing, then you get like 35th. That doesn't pay the bills.
He's also had some iconic wins where he's like,
because he can win. So we can say, yeah, dude, go crash a few times and give us another iconic win.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's also like if he could probably roll down into a 7th or a 9th or something, but at the end of the day, he wants to win Leger. Like 2 years ago, he was in a dirt jump helmet, celebrating, going crazy. It was like unreal. I don't think he's going to be like, oh, no, I should probably just cruise in for a 7th. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's, what's that saying? Like, he'll die on the sword.
Yes.
Amri will die on the sword, and that we have to be thankful for.
Yes, because it does produce heroic.
I could be like, a man of that talent should not crash that match.
Yeah.
Nah, I respect it.
Should we start a conspiracy as well? I said just now, I was watching the highlights, and Amri wasn't wearing his airbag. So
not wearing or didn't go off?
I'm almost certain not wearing because it looked a little bit thinner. Like Darko have one that's like a normal kind of chest plate, And usually when you can, like the airbag is like quite a big chest protector, so you can probably like, you can see it usually. And this is now a complete stab in the dark, but I would reckon he would probably put on his normal one and know there's a pretty high chance I'll wash the front, go, head over heels and grab my bike and carry on. Because obviously it's like in those conditions, you could probably go super hard and wash the front and grab and carry on kind of thing. And then you don't want an airbag to be like a Michelin man and you can't ride the next section and stuff like that. So I might be wrong.
Yeah, but then you're planning for a crash?
Yeah, but I mean, look at Max crashed in his quali run and still qualified first. And
yeah, probably would have not won it in quali.
Yeah, Amory's done a crash in South Korea and still podiumed or whatever. So like he was probably like, come on, I'm not having this thing go off and I can't ride the next section. Give me the limited protection one. Let's go,
Yeah, fair enough. Dude, and his brother's in like 5th, isn't he?
Anton.
Like, yeah, we're speaking about Amory. How's that? Like silently cruise up there in 5th. In the old days, he would have been celebrating with Max up there.
Yeah.
Like another Frenchman on the 5-man podium.
Yeah.
5-man and women podium. Like that's unbelievable.
He's been quietly riding very well.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just like, that's gone under the radar. Like,
and that
no
Lesor
surprise,
team,
right?
That Lesor team is also like quietly getting better and better, if you know what I mean. They used to be kind of a small team, but now that they've got Valley on the team, they've got Lisa Bauman in the team, like they've actually got a pretty stacked team now, especially Anton. He's probably like, okay, now you are our A rider, come on Boykie, you go get us some stuff.
Yeah, and then like classic Loic Bruni style, like maybe Jordan not his best stuff, but in 7th, so for the overall.
Yeah.
And Asa as well, like keeping
overall.
him honest, just ahead of him. So that's pretty interesting. I just want to go, and Martin May snuck in there in 9th. Pinky in 10th, like yes, he came off the podium.
That's a good ride.
Really good ride. It's just like that. I think he might have some of the most top 10s of the whole year. Lochy sneaking 11th, and Ollie Clark. We haven't seen a lot of Ollie this year, have we?
No, not at all. That was I think he did practice in Andorra. Him and Ronan. Ollie crashed the day before he was supposed to fly out for South Korea. That's and he actually did a bad one. He ruptured his spleen and a bit of his insides and stuff like that.
Out, huh?
He had to take a good few months off. And then he also just came to Morzine in the break, check. I think, no, he must have been in Andorra. But then after Andorra, he came here and he just sat in Morzine for a month now, just riding. We were spending a bunch of time with him, just riding. And you forget, even last year, he was hooking. Like, he was a junior, but like, I remember riding with him in Morjans, and he was doing some really, like nobody was doing the gaps he was doing. And if you go to Morjans with a World Cup crew, and you're the only one doing a gap, like, it's not as though you're riding with your buds from home or whatever. It's like you are doing something special. So he was always going to come into this year really good, and he's like, he's just spent 5 weeks riding plenty, so he came in hot, and it's a good result from him.
Yeah, it's a good track to get bike time, I think, as well. And like the bike fitness for Val de Sol is really good. Like, the gym's important, the VO2 maxes and this and that in the off-season is super important, but I think the guys are riding their downhill bikes a lot more than we used to. That's for sure.
Dude, Ollie was training really hard. Yeah, every morning, wake up 5K, go do like 10, 15 laps, go gym. Like, he was, I think Ronan was calling him fat for too long, so he went on a huge fat camp, and now he's looking really shredded and really good in shape.
He's one of the boys as well. You guys, like, he fits in with that crew. It's pretty rare to see. Speaking of training in this area, Tony Seagrave took that time off. She looked happy. She looked fast. I mean, she was good at the first 2 splits and then kind of drifted back. But I think that's like a success, to be back in the mix. Yeah. Tough conditions. Really impressive. Gloria Scarsi looked like she was almost ready to win the belts.
Yeah, really close.
She's got, I looked it up, she's got 4 or 5 top 5s. She's got the second from the first round, now a 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's hungry for more. I mean, Val de Sol could be, hey?
Yeah. Holy.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
That could be pretty cool. Valley, I'm not going to be the guy to say we expect more. What happened? It's just not fair.
Yeah.
It's just racing.
Yeah.
She got 3rd in the world.
Yeah.
She's basically wrapped up the title by now, surely. Or did she do that last race?
No, she couldn't have wrapped it up so far.
She's got a lot of points.
Oh, really?
She's ahead by a lot, but crazy thing is Hattie's smashed up the leaderboard and the overall. She's in 2nd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I saw that somewhere here. Well, I was surprised. That's why I had to read it again. Top 10 Elite Women's 2026 Series standings. Valley Hall 1455. She's basically wrapped that up. I haven't done the maths. And Hattie's in second. And her teammate in third, Lisa. How cool is that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Hey? That's mental.
Gearboxes, belts. It's all the future.
So we're all going to have high bars. No, okay, not high. 0 offset.
Yeah, 0 offset. That bike will actually work well. Well, those bikes will work well at Val de Sol with that bloody high bars and low offset.
For sure,
swinging
man.
off it down Val de Sol.
Just off you go. Shame you're not even going to be there. We didn't even get to speak about that. Like, as rough as the sport is, as a semi-pro privateer, you're pro, but I mean, like, your setup.
Yeah,
Still
It's
van
not
live.
pro.
You got support. Insult to injury. You've gone in, exploded your quad muscle.
Yeah.
What is the correct terminology for that?
I partially ruptured my quad muscle or something. So I did. I mean, actually, I've also had like a good few weeks riding and training here with all the boys, and I was feeling like, come on, I always love Leger. It's such a I don't know, I love the atmosphere. I always spend a lot of time in Morzine since I've been riding here. And then in the Q1 of yesterday, I literally did the road gap. There's a long, rough left-hander and then a right-hander as you enter the woods. And the first wet route in my qualifying run, I just washed the front and landed on my thigh, which I kind of previously injured in May. And there was a bit of a kind of standing hematoma there. I just landed on that and exploded it again. And then it kind of didn't feel too bad. I waited for the guy in front of me to go, because you never want to mess up somebody's race run in qualifying. Like the 30-second gaps are quite tight. So I just followed that guy down, and then I was like, my leg's kind of sore, but it's not too bad. And then I had my mother in my ear, you get up that hill and you go to the start gate for Q2. And then I was like, okay, get off, get all my stuff ready, get the bike clean, going up the hill for Q2. And I was like, I can't really my leg's quite sore by the time.
But I'm South African and I'm tough.
Yeah.
And my mom said,
get up the hill. And I was feeling pretty good until I sat on the chairlift that goes to the top, which is pretty cold, and you sit for 20 minutes.
Did you go up? You
Yeah,
did
yeah.
try.
Went all the way to the top.
Good for you,
By the
Teo.
time I went off the chairlift, my leg had seized up, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And I was still at the bottom warming up. I tried to get
Pulled
on
the Lloyd
road.
Bruni here, dude. Keep your cards close to your chest, man.
But Jackson wasn't at the bottom worried.
Yeah, I was like, I've just competed Lloyd Bruni.
Yeah.
But not because you were going to maybe win the race.
just the injury. But yeah, I try to pedal. There's a slight incline to the start gate, and I actually couldn't pedal to the start gate. And I
But
was
you were
like-
that close.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
my run is
man,
in
that
6
sucks.
minutes. I was pedaling to the gate, and I was like, I can't pedal. And I was like, and then I just thought the first corner has a real dirty rut, and I was like, the thought of hitting that rut, I was like, I'm gonna die if I hit that rut. So I just rolled down, and then from there it started getting more and more swollen, and then yesterday I checked it and I've bloody ruptured my thigh. So that is me for a good few weeks / possibly months, but who
That's
knows.
horrible. All right. Well, we'll have to get you on the podcast more.
I'll be in Cape
You
Town.
better talk
We can bench watch Monson
Yeah.
and Whistler.
Yeah, we can. We better at shit talking than riding. I am right now. Marine Cabaret started super slow. She had that mistake. I feel like it was in the second section, but she did pull back time there. So she's got a good track record here at Leger. Obviously the French always want to do well.
Yeah.
But that's that's sneaky close. I wonder what that feels like. Second
Yeah.
at a home race.
Yeah.
That's like a bitter pill.
Yeah, but I think the racing and the level is so hard these days. I think anyone on the podium's like, you know what, we could have been more, but you got to be happy with it.
In this day and age, for sure. I mean, you literally can't guarantee podiums, top fives anymore. The sport's just all over the place. That's for sure. Well, as we wrap up, what other inside info we got? So we rode with the boys in plenty. So no surprise, Ronan, after barely any time, was back in the finals. Andy Cole looked
Huge
good that
return.
day. Jackson, closer to what we expect.
I think
He expects.
Yeah, he has the privilege of, when he goes home for a summer break, he doesn't go to Wales or whatever. He goes to Squamish and Whistler, and he can ride the pants off. when it's good conditions, where like his home tracks. Can you imagine if you had a bit of, I mean, you call it a rough start to the season, but he got like podiums and fourths and stuff like that in the beginning, so it's not that bad.
No, definitely not.
But like,
no.
I'm sure when he goes home and he can ride his local tracks and just be tapped and feel so confident, I'm sure he comes back and goes, let's go. And I'm sure that was a nice warm-up because he is unbelievably good at Val di Sole. I think he is. I joked with him last year.
That run he did there, he barely touched the ground half the time.
He is almost, how many years has he raced juniors? Did he win Val di Sole as a junior in his first year? Junior.
Did he race it?
I think so.
I don't know, I'd have to look it up.
I think so. But I think for Val di Sole, he is literally, and I joked with him, he is like he was like, I'm 4 out of 5 for wins in Val di Sole. It could be 3 out of 4 or something like that, because he's raced 4 times and he's won 3 times. And the one time, didn't he do a Sam Hill crash in the last corner?
I've no idea, but the only thing I'm thinking about is I don't know if I posted the clip because he didn't win the first race, and you said he's going to rip everyone's pants down this year. Have you apologized for jinxing him?
I actually wanted to go to him.
Apologize? We'll try roll that clip now, or you can say, after Val di Sole, you can say, I was right.
After last year, I was like, and I saw him in Tassie, and he was still cruising.
But it made sense. That's like an accurate statement.
I actually wanted to go to him and say, Jackson, come on, man. I backed you in the beginning of the year, boyki. Come on.
But sport's just insane.
Yeah.
Like obviously, that was not easy what he did to deal with the pressure and deliver.
Yeah.
But you're riding on this wave of confidence, and you just can't buy that. You can't fake it. Momentum.
Yeah.
Confidence you can build. You have these processes, and it's crazy how easy that probably felt compared to the first half of this year. If you're expecting to win. Yeah. But.
And they kind of changed suspension and things like that. They had a couple of things to work through in the beginning of the year on the bike. So now I think he's a lot more comfortable on the bike.
And he didn't have, it's maybe like off the record stuff, but I don't know, maybe he hasn't spoken about it, but he didn't have as good preparation, which I think he mentioned once or twice. It wasn't like his perfect preparation.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit mentally it's tough to say, I'm done everything I can coming to season if you factually haven't done everything and it was out of your control to come in a season. Yeah. So that's tough,
But I reckon he's probably feeling pretty fit and strong and ready for Val di Sole. That's what I'm saying. He's done 3 out of 4 wins there, and the one he didn't, he was way up on all the splits, and then he crashed in the last corner. So I said to him, I was like, you're about 3.9 out of 4 wins. You know what I mean? Like, you really, there's one split that's held you back other than a clean record, you know?
Well, you've just,
so he's got some pressure going into Val di Sole.
Previewed Val di Sole. I mean, that's next week. It's a quick turnaround. All you can do is rest. Like, there's nothing you can do except rest and get ready to get shaken down that track.
Yeah, but I think almost everyone has gone there pre-season. Not pre-season, like previously. Like Andy Culp was there doing like 40 runs with his mechanic and stuff like that. So I think everyone is, as you say, Val di Sole, you actually need to limit your practice and be like, okay, what is this run going to do for me? This is what I need to do in this run, and actually like limit your intensity and your fatigue during the week. Because if you just go bash laps of Val di Sole, you just cooked by come race day, you know?
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think what could that help you? And I think it could help you potentially get your setup a bit quicker.
Yeah.
But it's super tough to ride World Cup pace away from a World Cup at those tracks on such a gnarly, brutal track that you know that if you get it wrong, you're in hospital.
Yeah, and you don't want to practice at World Cup pace because then you can just have.
I mean, I just know I've done pre-race testing there. I was like, I said to the mechanic, "This is a fucking crappiest idea ever. Like a little bit of rain, I'm here. You driving me up. I'm on my own. Who's carting me off this hill if I crash? There's a bit more support now, but I just think back. I'm like." It can help if everyone's doing it. You feel the need to go do it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's how you use it. You go, well, I do know the layout of the track. I know what the dirt feels like. Okay, just limit practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, if you can practice a bit before, you can limit your practice while you're there, and you can come in kind of knowing your lines and get straight up to speed, which is probably like, instead of spending the first bit of practice in your first 3 laps just like tinkering around, getting stuck in rock sections, you kind of like you're ready immediately on,
Yeah.
But Val di Sole with now, Alran's just had an insane run. Yes, the track's a touch different, but it's still a rooty, gnarly downhill track. His confidence is going to be piping hot. Jackson's going to want it, and he's going to be like, this is my race. And he's currently wearing the rainbows. Amory, you can't. Yeah, he's done some insane race runs down there. Benoit's done really well down there. Benoit didn't. How did Benoit do at this race?
He did well considering he went down first. So let's remember that's an hour and 40 minutes or so before the final one.
Yeah.
We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah,
100%.
the track
Max
dries
earned
up.
it. That was the best time you want to ride that track.
Yeah.
Sometimes it dries out so much you lose it on the tail end.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No.
But Max earned that.
Yeah.
I mean, he just did
Yeah. Exactly.
the triple basically. But yeah, Val de Sol, you got Amri. He'll be hungry, and maybe he's not that in the overall fight anymore. I haven't looked at the points, so it's like he can just go hell for leather. Someone like Jordan,
Yeah.
is he going to lift his game like a Loic does at a Worlds?
Yeah.
Even though he's got
Well, they
this,
were
like,
there testing as well.
even though he's got this overall to play for.
Yeah.
You know, when I get into Sam Hill's mind, just off the record, and he'll probably do it in the pod, it's like, dude, he's willing to die on that sword for world champs. Like, that was his ultimate goal, and maybe Amri probably has that as well, you know, so it's going to be dangerous.
Maybe even Jacko is not cracking the overall this year. Maybe he's like, come on, let me just slay the sword for Worlds, you know?
For sure.
There'd be a few big riders like that who've kind of,
And then probably Vali's kind of hard to beat against.
Yeah.
Maybe this pisses her off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she'll be like subtly angry
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And she's got so much of a lead, or if I did my maths, she's done it already. So
Yeah.
sick way to end, dude. Always fun catching up with you. I guess we'll do a lot more.
Yeah, I guess we'll be in Cape Town. We must do some bench watching for the last two World
good
Cups.
point.
'Cause I will
And
not be there.
you got to get back to Ride Atlas. You guys have got, well, you're not riding, but you're going to have some coffee and schmoozing. You're good at it. Get some schmoozing. Sick, dude. Peace.
God bless the boys at Val de Sol. Good luck.
Dude, I'm going. It is literally, I couldn't be happy to be on the side of the track.
I blew this thing and I was oh gosh, no Val de Sol, no. Nah,
Brilliant.
thanks for having me, bro.
Easy, bro.